YouTube, what's up? It's your boy, Wifidelly. And yes, the room is a little messy. I'm making this, I just woke up. I'm making this video for y'all. I just woke up. After this video, I'm gonna clean up and get in the shower, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of guy I am. Yes, sir. But yeah, man, don't say anything about the lotion either, man. Alright, so we're gonna get into this video. Today we have Stewie's entire story explained. Now, I am kind of like, I mess with Family Guy, man. Family Guy's pretty good. I don't watch Family Guy forever, bro. So this video just kind of, you know what I'm saying, made me click on it. Type shit, the thumbnail and shit, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, we're gonna get to this video. Before we start the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, man, let's get into the video. Let's do it.
Stewie Griffin is the super baby with a British accent and genius-level intellect, born to take over the world, literally. But fast forward 30 years, and he ends up a broke virgin boy working a shitty job. What happened? What kind of trauma would turn a time-traveling genius into such a loser?
What was I worried about? Oh God!
His fake accent? Misunderstood sexuality? We're gonna find out today, but let's start from the beginning. Like, the very beginning. According to Stewie, he caused the Big Bang. The world created him so he could create the world, like a Back to the Future meets Big Bang kind of loop.
It's called a temporal causality loop. The universe created me so I could create it so it could create me, and so on.
That's sci-fi, and this is Family Guy, so let's just go back to the day Stewie was born. Stewie was an accident baby, or more accurately, a whoopsie. At least that's what Chris told him. And honestly, the math checks out when you look at how far along Lois and Peter were in age and life. Having a baby at that point? Yeah, surprise. But even from conception, Stewie's life was a full-on battlefield.
It is though.
Right inside the womb, he had to fight off the other sperm just to be the first to fertilize the egg, and he did not come to play.
I recall it was every potential man for himself.
Bro, do you ever be thinking, like, how sperms fight? Like, dead ass, like, or is it just, like, the first one to go in there, you know what I'm saying, type shit? I don't know.
Turns out, though, he wasn't the only one who made it, but Stewie, ever the tactician, wasn't about to share the spotlight, so he eliminated his twin brother in the womb to get rid of any competition.
I can make things happen when I want to. Just ask my twin brother.
And here's baby boy number 1. I understand you've decided to name him Stewie. One more to go, and here he... Oh dear.
Oh no, did Dave not make it?
With all that prenatal drama, it makes sense that Stewie was already cooking up world domination plans before even leaving the womb. You could say he was born for it, literally.
Congratulations, Mrs. Griffin, it's a boy. Oh, wait a minute, I don't think we're through here.
Oh my God, is it twins?
No, it's the map of Europe.
But like most things in Family Guy, some details about Stewie's birth just don't add up. For instance, at one point it's shown that he was born with that iconic football-shaped head, but later we find out that he was actually born with a normal head until a trampoline bed jumping incident flattened his skull into its now famous shape.
Stewie, get down before you hurt yourself.
Shut up! You're not my mother!
Good God, are you all right?
To add to the mix, he is the third child and second son of Peter and Lois Griffin. The young...
Fun fact, that really ain't impossible, though, because, like, whenever you're, like, a baby, for real, I guess he would have been considered a toddler. But, like, as a baby, for real, bro, your head's still, like, mushy. You know what I'm saying? It ain't fully hardened yet, like your skull.
Youngest sibling to Meg and Chris, and also the older half-brother of Bertram. Honestly, for someone like him, could there be a more chaotic origin story?
For 9 grueling months. Day 171, I've sprouted another finger. Counting the one from yesterday, I'm up to 11. As the months of solitude passed, I began to go insane.
When Stewie first appeared in Family Guy, it was in the very first episode that aired. Right from the jump, he was articulate with an advanced vocabulary, a posh British accent, and a clear disdain for both his parents.
What on earth was that?
What the deuce are you staring at? It's tuna fish. And nothing else.
Though his hatred for Lois was definitely the stronger one. But Stewie's dislike for Lois wasn't just about cold stares and sharp-tongued insults and over-the-top diction that no one else seemed to hear or understand. In the early seasons, his grudge against her ran so deep that he was constantly plotting ways to kill her. Which, yeah, raises the question, What exactly did Lois do to him?
Yeah, I said no toys at the table.
Damn you, vile woman! You've impeded my work since the day I escaped from your wretched womb.
Oh, don't pout, honey.
Stewie's assassination attempts included death rays, elaborate traps, virtual simulations, you name it. He threw everything at the wall, but nothing stuck. At least, not until he eventually found a way to almost go through with it. We'll get to that part later. But Lois isn't the only one on Stewie's hate list. His entire personality is wrapped in arrogance, and he simply cannot tolerate the average mind. To him, he's not a baby, he's an intellectual powerhouse surrounded by drooling incompetence.
Jackal! 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 It's a jackal! Jackal!
Time!
It wasn't right the first time you said it. Why the hell would it be right the next 10 times? God!
Still, for all his sophistication, evil genius energy, and self-proclaimed Einstein-level intellect, Stewie's biggest limitation is the very thing he refuses to acknowledge. He's a baby. And that baby status shows up often, whether it's Lois ruining his villainous schemes by interrupting with a spoonful of mashed peas, or him genuinely believing Peter has vanished during a game of peekaboo.
Peekaboo!
Yes, I see you, fat man.
Where's Daddy?
What? Where did you go? Oh, this is impossible. I can hear you, but I can't see.
Despite his big brain, he struggles to read sometimes, has a tough time with shapes, talks to his teddy bear Rupert like he's alive, and falls for every classic toddler trick, like laughing uncontrollably while Lois blows on his tummy.
Let me get in that belly. Let me kiss that
Stop
belly.
it.
I'm gonna give you a flubber kiss.
Oh, and let's not forget the same boy who builds time machines and death rays still has no clue how to use a toilet. As a part of growing up, Stewie attends preschool like any other kid his age. He deals with the usual baby stuff, juice boxes, nap mats, snack time, and is surrounded by teachers who have absolutely no idea that one of their students casually builds time machines before nap time. Even at this stage in life, Stewie's mastery of physics and engineering is nothing short of science fiction. We're talking full-blown genius with a toolbox. He's constructed advanced fighter jets, mind control devices, weather-altering machines, teleporters, robots, clones, and even a working transporter from Star Trek.
Rupert, my transporter is complete. If my calculations are correct, the cast of Star Trek The Next Generation will soon be here to answer all my questions.
That's not even mentioning the shrinking pod, the multiverse remote, and an entire arsenal of laser guns, rocket launchers, and crossbows. Now, most of these inventions were for simpler baby problems, like most of which were built in like him teething, eating broccoli, or even being denied screen time. But many of these inventions also had a darker purpose. One of the earliest and most defining arcs of Stewie's life, as mentioned earlier, was his obsession with killing Lois, and eventually, he did it. Or at least it seemed like he did. While on a cruise ship, Stewie finally went through with it. He shot Lois multiple times and watched her fall into the ocean, seemingly for good. Then, with absolutely no remorse, he framed Peter for her murder. But as it
I've watched all these episodes, by the way. I'm not gonna lie.
turns out, Lois survived the storm of bullets and returned from the dead, dramatically of course, to expose Stewie as the one who tried to kill her. With the truth out and nothing left to hide, Stewie fully leaned into his villain era. He gained access to a supercomputer, hijacked the global power grid, and crowned himself president of the world. World domination had finally been achieved. That is, until Lois came crashing through the White House window like an action movie hero. What followed was a full-blown battle between mother and son. But just as he was about to finish the job, Peter burst in and shot him. And then came the twist. None of it was real. The entire sequence had been a simulation, a what-if run on Stewie's computer. Nothing actually happened, but after that storyline, the recurring kill Lois plot slowly faded from his life. His arc took a new turn, one that would focus less on world domination, but more on other dynamics, like his evolving and sometimes chaotic relationship with Brian. Stewie's relationship with Brian is just like the rest of his other complicated dynamics, and there's so much to unpack. The two are basically a duo, always off on some crazy adventure, getting into shenanigans or at each other's throats. But despite this, Stewie is actually attached to Brian. But this attachment was taken to a whole new level of freakishly disturbing, and that's saying a lot for a show like Family Guy. In the episode Stewie is Enciente, after feeling like Brian wasn't spending enough time with him, Stewie decided to collect DNA samples from Brian and use a machine to impregnate himself.
We're going to fix this relationship. We need
What
a
the
baby,
hell?
and we need it now. I'm just going to take a little bit of his DNA, and soon we'll be proud parents.
From there, things escalate pretty fast and completely out of hand. In what has to personally rank as one of the craziest and most disturbing scenes in Family Guy history for me, Brian is forced to help Stewie deliver the babies in his car when they can't make it to the hospital.
There's more! They're coming out of everywhere! Ah, kill me! This hurts too much! Holy what is happening? I don't know! Brian, save the placenta!
The babies end up deformed and dying off, and the few remaining ones, abandoned. But then again, this is the same Stewie who would later go from that level of diabolical attachment to shooting Brian in the leg over a debt. Yet, despite all of Stewie's evil traits and the cruelty he shows Brian, he does genuinely care about him. In the episode Brian and Stewie, he admitted that Brian is his only friend and the only person in the entire world he truly cares about, even traveling back in time to save his life. But other than his friendship with Brian and occasional fights, Stewie has had a couple of worthy rivals along the way. First up, Bertram, also known as his half-brother. Bertram is basically Stewie with even less chill. The two have gone to war multiple times, from trying to kill each other in epic battles to literally fighting over control of the playground. Their feud started when Stewie learned Peter and Lois wanted to have another baby. To stop that from happening, he shrank himself into Peter's body to destroy his sperm cells, but he ended up confronting Bertram, one of Peter's sperm that looked like him.
Come back here this instant, you fat bastard, and do her! Stop it! Stop it!
Bertram ended up being born to a lesbian couple after he got mixed up in a sperm bank because of Peter's mistake. His fight with Stewie even involved a time-traveling mission to erase each other's existence. Then there's Doug, Stewie's smug, rich preschool nemesis. Doug may not want to conquer the world, but he does want to be the teacher's pet. Another fierce rival who turned into a romantic interest for Stewie was Penelope. From Mr. and Mrs. Stewie, she was just as evil as Stewie, maybe worse. Stewie believed he had found his soulmate until they fought over Brian.
Stewie, step aside. Penelope, I can't let you do this.
Stewie, she's 1 year old. I think I can handle this myself.
After defeating her, Penelope kisses him and smiles, and Stewie confidently brags that he'll tell his friends he banged her. But Penelope isn't the only one Stewie has a relationship with. He has a wild number of romantic involvements, but before diving into those, we've got to establish Stewie's sexuality in the show. First off, he doesn't fully understand sex. He once thought it was a kind of cake. Not only does he not get it, he's not even interested. He even married a woman once because of how romantic it seemed, but he wasn't willing to engage in intimate relations and outsourced that to Brian.
The perfect husband. While you're banging her, I'm walking with a shoebox full of our receipts to H&R Block.
So, you just want the crappy parts of marriage?
Still, when Stewie finds out his future self is a lonely virgin, he spirals, trying everything to avoid that fate. But let's not forget that this is still an infant we're talking about. That said, in the show, Stewie seems like a closeted bisexual. He flirts with men, kisses Brian on several occasions, and once, while dying of cancer, or so he thought, one of his bucket list items was to ballroom dance with Brian. In another episode, We Love You, Conrad, Stewie reveals his alter ego, Desiree, which turns out to have multiple boyfriends.
It's gonna make her jealous. You out on the town with a hot date.
How are you a hot date?
Whoa, you're angry at her, not me. No wonder you're alone.
All these subtle signs hinted at him being gay. Seth MacFarlane even confirmed that they almost had him officially come out in a 2009 episode, which got fully scripted, but they eventually shelved it and opted for keeping it vague, which was probably for the best. Still, Stewie had romantic interests with the opposite sex too. He's had a rocky on and off thing with Olivia, a toddler/beauty queen. At first, he tried to sabotage her career, but when he saw her again, he fell head over baby heels. Olivia wasn't exactly impressed, so Stewie tried copying Quagmire's moves to win her over. It worked for a while, but the relationship quickly turned toxic, full of bickering and petty fights.
My problem is you. You're acting like a baby.
And we come to the center of the shrubbery maze. That's what it all comes down to, isn't it? I'm not grown up enough for you.
Well, you are a baby, aren't you?
Stay out of it, stay out of it.
It all crashed when Stewie caught her cheating with another kid, Victor, by playing with Silly Putty. He's also developed a crush on Susie Swanson, Joe's baby. He tried everything to impress Susie, even saying to her a cover of Everything I Do It For You, but she wasn't feeling it. By the end, he'd lost interest and was suddenly crushing on Bryan Adams. But the strongest, most consistent relationship Stewie's ever had is with Rupert, his teddy bear. Rupert isn't just a toy to Stewie, he's his confidant, his emotional support, and his imaginary lover. He talks to Rupert like they're a married couple. They quarrel, bicker, and give each other the silent treatment. He's had jealous outbursts over Rupert, romantic fantasies with him, and literal full-blown conversations, but from our perspective, it's only Stewie that's doing the talking.
Because it's embarrassing to see you in jeans at church, that's why. Yeah, I'm sure it was fine back home in Tampa. Now hold still.
But Rupert's the only one Stewie ever allows himself to be truly vulnerable with. Around others, he's all sharp wit, sarcasm, and condescension, his polished British accent only adding to the flair. This brings us to the topic of Stewie's vocabulary and accent. Stewie's accent and vocabulary are among the most iconic things about him. He's highly intelligent, and his speech makes sure you never forget it. Despite being from Quahog like the rest of his family, Stewie speaks with a crisp, superior-sounding English accent, completely out of place in his environment and intentionally so. In a therapy session, Stewie confesses that the accent is fake. It was adopted in order to sound smarter than everyone else around him, but here's the irony. He is smarter than everyone else. He doesn't need to fake anything. But so as to be different, Stewie made the accent become a mask, a way to hide his insecurities and prevent the real world from ever knowing his true self. However, for a brief moment, he drops the act and speaks in his real voice. It felt like a weight had been lifted.
This is how I talk. The accent is nothing more than an affectation, a coat of armor to get me through the day, just an image I cultivated so I could feel special. Wow.
Stewie even considered dropping the accent and revealing his true self to others, but didn't go further with this. Without the accent, he realized he would sound just like everyone else, so he switched back to how he always spoken since day one. That meant the only person who ever knew the truth was his therapist, but when the therapist suddenly suffered a heart attack, Stewie chose not to help him, just to protect his secret.
This is how you leave me.
Sorry.
Engrossing death.
That moment shows how far Stewie's willing to go to maintain his carefully constructed persona and protect his most vulnerable self. And so in his interaction with others, he's a proud, sarcastic, smart-talking baby. But the next mystery to Stewie's story is, how many people can truly understand him?
And that's the story of Pretoria, a little nation that 200 years ago seceded and repatriated in less than a week. Any questions?
Yeah, I don't get it. So, like, can the family understand the baby, or what's the deal with that?
One of the biggest mysteries in Family Guy is whether or not anyone can even understand Stewie. Much like his sexuality, this remains very ambiguous. Sometimes they can understand him, and other times, not so much. The show plays fast and loose with the rules. Kids seem to understand him just fine. Adults, not so much. The Griffins often ignore most of what Stewie says, but on occasion, they do respond to him. However, there have been moments where it's obvious other characters do understand him, including Cleveland and Joe.
Hey, Cleveland, you know I love you, but those jeans, they ain't for you.
I knew it. I think I just needed to hear it. Thank you, Peter's baby.
Copy that.
Brian, for example, can always understand Stewie. They have full conversations, arguments, musical numbers, you name it. Strangers also seem to get him, and when he talks to Meg or Chris, they sometimes respond. In fact, later seasons make it quite clear that Chris definitely understands him. The only time the entire family directly speaks to Stewie like a normal member of the group is in the episode Stewie Kills Lois and Lois Kills Stewie. But these episodes were revealed to be simulations, so they don't exactly count. In Inside Family Guy, Peter thanks Stewie after he accepts his apology and even admits that he can understand him. This surprises Stewie, who had always believed that the fat man couldn't.
Hey, Dad, that's a cool whip. I thought you couldn't understand me!
And when the family briefly had Vinny as a replacement for Brian, Vinny also understood Stewie perfectly. Throughout those episodes, Stewie and Vinny spoke with each other just like Stewie and Brian do. Then there's the episode Stewie's First Word. After getting frustrated over poor Wi-Fi and the lack of cookies during Lent, Stewie blurts out a curse word in church and everyone understands it. He's immediately shunned. Lois tries to figure out where he learned that kind of language and eventually realizes it was from her. By the end of the episode, Stewie says his second understandable word, mommy.
Mommy!
Wow.
It's Stewie's second word!
Oh my God!
That's when he figures it out. People only seem to understand him when he really wants them to. But people understanding Stewie should be the least of their worries, because behind that posh accent and cute face is a tiny tyrant with a violent streak and dark side.
And here I am.
So, what you're saying is we've got a homicidal baby on our hands.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Stewie Griffin is a full-blown menace. If he's not dishing out the cruelest insult that would leave anyone wrecked for days like he did Brian...
Panders to the lowest common denominator, Brian, and it doesn't even do that well.
Shut up!
May every person that laughs at your sophomoric effort be a reminder of your eternal mediocrity and pierce your heart like a knife.
Bro be saying so many big words for me, man. I can't understand that shit.
The kid is creating weapons of mass destruction before he could spell destruction. He has casually ended the lives of innocent people like he's checking off a grocery list. He once confused a bunch of kids in vampire Halloween costumes from monsters and unleashed rapid gunfire on all of them.
All right, you undead bastards, time to send you back to hell!
Hey, Stewie, you all set to go trick-or-treating? Whoa, what the hell?
He also cloned an evil version of himself because he was worried he was getting too nice. That's right, when Stewie feared he was going soft, he didn't go to therapy, he made a clone. A violent, snarling, sociopathic clone named Evil Stewie, who immediately went on a rampage. Throughout the show, the baby's racked up a body count that'd make a mob boss blush. But it's not only done when he's young. Even when we see a future version of him, his sociopathic tendencies are all still intact. That brings us to future Stewie. We get a glimpse into Stewie's future in a 2021 episode. This time, he's rich, he's smug, and basically balling out in California. But when Brian shows up with the news that Peter's dying, Stewie returns home. On his deathbed, Peter asks Stewie to look out of the family. Stewie gets all serious and agrees. But it all turns out to be a lie. The Griffins were faking the whole thing to get their hands on Stewie's money. But Stewie, being Stewie, already knew and filled the house with gas.
Chris should be lighting his cigar right about...
Stewie, help! It hurts!
Except, plot twist, it was all just a fantasy while Stewie was shopping for an old man costume to Halloween. None of it was real. But a real look into Stewie's future self, which is an opposite to his violent, egotistical self, is in the Season 4 episode Stewie and Stewie's Excellent Adventure. In this episode, Stewie sees an older version of himself on TV and assumes it's his biological father. So naturally, he tracks him all the way to San Francisco, only to find out if it's actually him at age 35. Before older Stewie can head back to his timeline, baby Stewie jumps into the time machine with him and stows away.
I've already said enough. I really should be getting back. You can't just leave me. I must know my future.
Sorry, it's against the rules. Goodbye, Stewie.
Surprise!
And when he sees his adult life, it's not exactly what he pictured. Instead of world domination and global fame, future Stewie is a 35-year-old virgin working at the Quahog Circus Shack, living alone in a crusty apartment that probably smells like cheese and sadness. Not quite the fate you'd expect for a baby who quotes Shakespeare and builds death rays for fun. Stewie decides to fix his future. He gives the place a makeover and even tries to help his older self lose his virginity to a coworker named Fran, which goes horribly.
I really enjoyed the movie tonight, and I'm not tired
Fran big as hell. Goddamn, Fran. Shit.
at all.
Oh, yeah, good. I enjoyed the movie, too. Oh, hey, I hear they're extending our store hours until 9:30.
Oh, that's great.
Let's have sex! What?
Definitely. I'll be right back.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Stewie wonders what could have caused his future to end up so tragically sad and disappointing. That's when future Stewie confesses that a near-death experience made him terrified of taking risks, which led to his boring, miserable life. So baby Stewie goes back in time to stop it all from happening. He saves his future self from the accident, then gets vaporized right after by his past self. This way, Stewie ensures the timeline is corrected and he gets to live to achieve his full potential. This basically covers Stewie's life story, a time-traveling, chaos-creating, insult-slinging maniac with a posh accent and a god complex. But Stewie's life is not as wild and chaotic as Meg's, who is even suspected to be Stewie's mother. Check out her entire life story here. Thanks for watching.
Appreciate you guys for watching the video, man. Oh my goodness. Hey, I'm telling you, this shower finna feel good, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to clean this room up. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching the video. There should be more videos on the screen, man.